It doesn't have anything that it remembers? Oh my gosh. I thought when you installed and uninstalled games that it would remember your progress. I guess not. Okay. Yeah, I played the first two episodes, I think, of this on stream back when I first started streaming in October of last year. So definitely worth playing again because I, definitely have a lot of new faces since then, and I don't totally remember it. And apparently I can't load my old save anyway, so guess that's to tell me what the volume's like. The wind clawed at my window all night long. It wandered the fields and howled like a hungry beast. An endless song weaved from all sorts of voices, shrill, gentle, sneery, twined in the air. They were shouting and laughing and arguing about something. Someone was running through the snow while casting long shadows that would occasionally creep close to my bed. Our house had a mind of its own, the creaky old mind of a building that had seen a lot in its days, and was seemingly trying to share its wisdom with the inhabitants. The lonely house faced the forest, and the dark green thicket gazed back with its hollow eyes, rustling, whizzing, swaying back and forth. One could come out and stand at the edge of the forest to reassure themselves. There was nobody behind the crooked trees. Fuzzy silhouettes swaying in the wind couldn't possibly do any harm. It's just a play of light and shadow. Just a play. I knew it was just my imagination. I was already 12 after all. Still. Efes! It was a wolf. Episode 1, the owl will arrive.
Убери книгу немедленно.
Hey, put away your book.
Сколько раз говорила, не читай за столом, вредно. Сидишь, сутулился весь.
How many times have I told you not to read at the table? It's bad for your health. Look at how slouched you are. I didn't protest and put the book about Conan the Barbarian aside. I was stuck on a line I couldn't understand after reading it 3 times anyway. Olya had already finished her breakfast and was munching on some cookies. She was so enthusiastic. She almost looked like your typical girl from commercials.
Пока не съешь, из-за стола не встанешь.
You're not going anywhere until you finish all of it. I, on the other hand, was still trying to drill a hole in the plate with my eyes, as if it would make the porridge disappear. Hazy anxiousness welled up inside, all because of the previous sleepless night, the black forest around our house, and the gloomy wind. The longer I waited, the colder the lumpy white substance became. It looked like a jellyfish from Cousteau's Odyssey. I love that show. I wonder how horrifying the bottom of the ocean is, or how cold the black forest is at night. The spoon fell out of my hand. Mom showered me with a cold glare from her green eyes.
Что я говорила?
What did I just say?
Я достану.
I'll get it. I had 10 seconds to catch my breath before battling the nasty porridge once again. I felt around for the spoon. What is this, carved on the other side of the table? Karina. Ha! That's my mom's name. I guess she carved it out with something pointy when she was little. She was a rascal, damaging the furniture like that. She would scold me for a week if I did something similar, though. Should I remind her about it? No, she's been a bit in a bit of a bad mood lately. I imagined her, my age, sitting under this table. I wonder, was Mom afraid of the dark back then? Or the sounds coming from the attic? Or the thick forest? I imagined my grandma coming into my little mom's room, sitting at the edge of her bed where Olya sleeps nowadays, and saying this in her soft, smooth voice.
Тайга особое место, дитятка.
Taiga is a special place, little girl.
Она к тебе присматривается, принюхивается.
It's watching you closely, sniffing you out.
Словно хочет понять, что ты за зверь такой.
Trying to discern what kind of beast you are.
Понравишься, в беде не бросит.
If you're a good sort, it won't abandon you in times of trouble.
А будешь проказничать, схватит за бочок и утащит с собой под землю.
But if you're a bad apple, it'll grab you by the side and drag you under the ground.
Тут и дело с концом.
And that would be it. Grandma was caring. She never fought with anybody, never yelled, never swore. Those were the times without the maddening screams until late at night. Without smashed dishes and mutual accusations. Our parents used to love each other back then. I remember listening in on one of their conversations by chance. They were talking about Grandma, getting prepared for her funeral. She had already bought a casket. And she called it her cute funeral box. Apparently death is the theme of the games I'm playing today. It waited for its time in the closet, patiently. It was black, upholstered, with meat-colored material on the inside. I saw it when my grandma was getting buried. The house didn't change since the time she was alive. Only all of the photos were gone. Glass-covered pictures with gray faces of my ancestors. They all had a dead, but watchful look in their eyes. I crawled out from under the table. Olya was done with her cookies and was looking at my share like a sly woodland critter. I turned my gaze toward the frosted window. There were a lot of dark pines outside, but they didn't grab my attention. The pattern of frost formed a picture on the glass.
Оля, гляди, лиса!
Olya, look, it's a fox.
Где?
Where? It looked almost like those optical illusion thingies they put in the back of student notebooks. A mixture of lines at first glance. But if you blur your vision a little bit and look under a certain angle,
Да не на улице, на стекле.
not outside, on the window.
Смотри, вот нос, вот.
Look, here's the nose, and here's...
Ну-ка, доедай.
Hey, eat up.
Да, да, сейчас.
Yeah, just a moment.
Я ничего не вижу.
I don't see anything.
Живо. Совсем немного осталось.
Hurry up, there's not much left.
А, вот. Но все равно не похоже.
There it is. But it still doesn't look like one.
А я говорю, похоже.
And I'm telling you it does.
Не-а. Похоже.
Yeah. The art style is really nice, I agree. It does.
Прекратите. Ну что за дети?
Stop it. These kids, I swear. Now I couldn't see the fox either. Disappeared. Went away. Only the frosty patterns, similar to stretched out nettle leaves, kept creeping up the glass. My dad entered the kitchen with long, measured steps. I want to have a beard like his when I grow up. Mom would always ask jokingly, "Come on, shave it off, it stings." This was so long ago. Nowadays, rumbling doors and witty comebacks were an everyday occurrence. Olya always covers her ears whenever she hears something like, "What's the point in all this?" through the wall. It's all for your sake, Dad would reply. For the sake of our family. I caught every sound in fear of hearing the most dreaded, deadliest word that started with a D. Devo. I don't even want to finish it. It was scary to imagine that me and my little sister could be torn apart, taken into two different families.
Да что твоя лиса? Вот у меня на окне сова.
Anyway, your fox is nothing. I have an owl on my window.
Опять ты со своей совой.
You and your owl talk again.
Так ты же вчера мне верил.
You said you believed me just yesterday.
Никто ключи от машины не видел?
Has anybody seen my car keys? Why do you guys think that Olya... Oh, okay. I was like, Olya and the mom, they blink. I don't think the dad's eyes have moved.
Вроде оставлял на подоконнике.
I remember leaving them on the windowsill.
Вроде.
Right.
Вроде оставлял, вроде нет.
Maybe you did, and maybe not.
Вроде взрослый мужчина, отец двоих детей, а вроде...
You're a grown man. A father of two. And still...
Перестань, пожалуйста, Карина.
Karina, please. Stop.
Дай мне спокойно собраться.
Just let me get ready in peace.
В корзине твои ключи, возле телефона.
Your keys are in the basket, near the phone.
Огромное тебе человеческое спасибо.
Wow. Thank you very much.
Антон, ешь быстрее, а то как мученик сидишь.
Anton, stop making a martyr out of yourself and finish eating already.
А сова?
But the owl!
Не было там никакой совы.
There was no owl.
Была.
But there was one.
Глазюки огромные. Во, и светятся.
It had giant glowing eyes. Olya sprung up from the chair and placed her hands on her little face, imitating a pair of eyes with their fingers, each the size of an apple each.
В прошлом году бабай в шкафу. Сейчас сова?
Last year you had Babai in your closet, and now this owl? Is that like Baba Yaga? Babai, the nocturnal spirit used to... Okay.
Ну я же видела.
But I saw it. Thank you for the hydrate and the stretch, Tony. I mean, the stretch. Okay. I've been sipping on water the entire time. That's good. Thank you, I needed that. Alright. Olya shifted her gaze back and forth from Dad to Mom to me. Couldn't find any support.
А ты не думала подружиться с ней, нет?
Have you thought about befriending it?
Вымышленными мышами покормить, например?
You know, like feeding it with imaginary mice?
Не подначивай ребенка.
Don't bully our girl.
Просто мала еще, и спать одна боится.
She's just afraid to sleep alone. She's little. Olya pouted her lips in rebellion and rushed into the hallway. The staircase that led to the second floor creaked. Mom gave Dad a strict look. Oh, that look in her eyes. It's so uncomfortable to be pinned under it. Dad just snorted in reply and left, ringing with the keys he just found. A minute had passed and the theme song from The Little Mermaid echoed through the house. It was stored on an incredibly worn-out cassette tape, which Dad had already had to glue together once. It's so easy to fix objects by gluing them back together, for example. But how do you fix a relationship? Mom moved to the living room and I was left alone, anxiously stealing glances at the window. Olya had trouble sleeping ever since we moved to this house. She would toss and turn and curl up into a ball under her blanket. Sometimes she would jump up in the middle of the night and turn on the VCR. Cartoons helped to take her mind off the troubles we had with the move and our parents. Cute. Then Olia said she saw the giant flying monster outside her window. Outside of your what's the one with my radio? She became obsessed with it. Our parents did everything in their power. They tried every little trick to get rid of those ridiculous fears. Olia refused to sleep alone and didn't believe that the owl was just one of her nightmares. After last night, I was unsure what to make of my sister's words, what to think of it myself. Can nightmares be infectious? That night, I couldn't get a wink of sleep and ended up thinking of what to expect from my new school. There are a couple of days left before the beginning of a new term. My imagination drew long, twisting hallways that led to a classroom full of kids. There is this weird, uncanny valley between filtered photo and anime styles of art. Yeah, I guess this game really plays with that. I also really like the grayscale approach. It's pretty cool. Oh, and Borky! I haven't seen you in a while. Thank you for the stretch. Stretch. Actually, you know what? I'll do a standing stretch for this one. Since that other one got my arms real good. But all the students behind their desks were simply dark figures, cut out using a template. Circular holes gaped in the middle of their faces, and a pair of eyes blinked inside those holes. It was as if some completely different creatures were looking at me from behind the flat black silhouettes. Their cruel glares, filled with icy sneers, made me shiver from head to toe. Will I survive here? How's your day been going? Been having a good week so far? Oh. A rain dog too. That's a really cute name. Thank you for the follow. And welcome aboard. How's your day been going? Oh, this is awesome. We're like 4 away from 500 followers. Very cool. Thank you so much. Oh, that's such a cute emote. Adorable. Are you guys into kind of the horror visual novel? Because that's what Tiny Bunny's about. Won't they gang up on me and beat me down? Stomp me with their bloodied shoes? I remember the text in this being like pretty dark at times. The damn school can burn for all I care. I just wish for anything to happen to it. It doesn't really matter what. I didn't want to go there. Badly. Oh really? Okay, cool. Yeah, I saw that there was an episode 3 and I didn't remember completing it, and it's been so long since I've done this. I was like, let's just start again. What other visual novels are you into? Are you kind of into the like horror visual novel scene or all sorts of stuff? I didn't want to see people who are just itching to smack me on the head, trip me up, think of a new offensive name for me, worse than the previous one. I felt like the glasses I wore made me an outsider or some sort of monster. My gaze slid across the drawings hanging on the walls. I couldn't consider myself a great artist, but Olya begged me to hang them. Drawing was the only thing that made me happy as of late. Some good drawings. You got like Freddie Mercury, maybe, and the cat, uh, beach castle. A small circle of friends I had also enjoyed my paintings, and they promised to call me from time to time. Sometimes I imagine Mom picking up the phone and saying in a cold voice, "You've got the wrong number." I like the Phoenix Wright series too. Both of these series have a lot of charm. You know, that's one that I've caught bits and pieces of because I've thought maybe sometime I'll play it. It does look very fun. But I'm also I don't know if you ever heard of the Aviary Attorney game. I keep trying to play that game and um I haven't seen it all the way through, but I feel like I always get stuck leading to like the worst outcome. So I'm worried the same thing's gonna happen with Phoenix Wright. It's a bit dark to make out much details, by the way. Um, I don't know that I can do a whole lot about that. I think that's kind of just, I mean, it's kind of what my screen looks like. Or Anton is not around. Anton is not around. I imagined my future classmates lying in their beds, just like me, listening to the howls of invisible werewolves outside their windows. Maybe my new classmates will like me after all. But who would ever like a boy with thick glasses? Most people. Glasses are nice. And one of my favorite accessories. I mean, like, I know people wear them because they need it for sight, but aesthetically, I really like glasses. I don't personally wear them. I mean, my dad used to wear glasses when he was little, and now he's married to the most beautiful woman on the planet, my mom. That's so cute. Oh yeah, I have very similar gameplay, yeah. The house is creaked, pressed by the wind. The condo we used to live in, a 9-floor concrete building, buzzed with a neighbor's drill, mumbled with a TV set from behind the wall, cried like a baby from the big family next door. I swear I just heard a baby sound. Our current house, though, I can't really call it new. It's completely different. It was silent and easygoing during the day. Its shadows lay dormant in the corners, on the closet cobwebs, and under the stairs. But they all woke up during the night. Something was watching me from every corner, almost as if the odd photos of my diseased family, with their ashen eyes, were hanging on the walls in place of my drawing. The floor was squeaking, rusty drains were moaning, the attic was occupied by noisy drafts. One could think the house was performing some sort of demonic melody. And then I realized it was, in fact, hearing music. It was already playing for a good while. Somewhere at the edge of my perception, I could hear a flute. It was mixed in with the sound of the wind, with a creaky old house, and my thoughts too. I stood up and rushed to the window. I wanted to reassure myself that this music was nothing more than a product of my imagination. It's not like someone is playing it there, amidst the cold, snowy night, right? Oh. Someone was dancing in the field. Black silhouettes I could barely make out, the dark forest as their backdrop. They jumped around, basked in moonlight, bumped into piles of snow, rolled around, crawled on all fours. Stories about wolves playing under the moon came to mind. These were clearly not wolves. They stood upright at times, circled around holding hands and whipping up snow, disappearing into the shadows for a brief moment, and then coming back. Something bizarre was going on. Shadows dancing in the starless abyss made my imagination go wild, making me anxious at the same time. Suddenly, the music had stopped. The dancing shadows froze in place, and I could swear pierced me with their eyes. Time to go! One of the silhouettes immediately parted from the bizarre shadow carnival and sprinted across the field with giant leaps. Nope. It glided on the sneaky snow without leaving any prints until it was devoured by the pitch-black shadow of my house, which became even darker and thicker. My heart was jumping around like the bird inside a cage. I shut the curtains with a swift motion and stepped back toward the bed. They saw me. A freezing torrent of fear washed over me. Yep, that's a big note. I stood in the middle of a perfectly dark room and listened to some unwanted guest move and scrape around looking for an entrance. Sound moved to the right, then circled around the house. Now my guest should be at the front door. I jumped into the bed and covered myself with the blanket as if it could protect me. The shackles of fear locked my muscle. I remember the funeral. My grandma lying there, hands crossed on her chest. Her facial features, sharp like that of a tin doll. Ants running down the legs of chairs that held my grandma's casket. I imagined those little creatures climbing up her head and pulling up her eyelids with their tiny legs. Then, her wrinkly eyeballs would once again move inside their sockets, and she'd be able to see her grandchildren. I was chanting the spell that she taught me throughout the whole procedure. Thanks for the lure cake, Quirrs. I remember, it was Quirrs. But yes, it was really nice of you to join us today, and thank you so much for the lure. And now, lying under the blanket and listening to squeaks and howls, I was repeating the same words.
На острове Буяне, в синем океане, стоит домовина, в ней сало и глина, волосы седые, чертям еда.
On the island of
Антона
Buya,
не тронут никогда.
underneath the blemished sun, in the sea of the color blue, stands a cabin made of wood.
Если запутают дорогу к дому,
Evil leave this house must.
мертвый к мертвому, живой к живому.
Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. The bizarre sounds had disappeared. I cautiously peeked out from under the blanket and saw curtains waving around like a hanged man. Oh, we've got ourselves a boat. Hold on a second. And then the night doused me with a new portion of boiling terror. The sound scratched at my eardrums. In reality, something or someone were scratching at the front door, hurriedly clawing at wood, demanding to be let in. The door was shut. Dad had become very cautious recently, so he installed a sturdy lock. I remember him staring at the forest intently, as if he was looking for someone.
Мертвое к мертвому,
Ashes to ashes,
живое к живому.
dust to dust. I hugged my knees, placing my chin between them, and drilled the door with my eyes. It was so flimsy and weak for the might of darkness. And then, nope, the doorknob twitched slightly. Then it turned halfway, once, twice, as if the person who tried to enter had no hands. The doorknob tilted once more, and then started clicking violently. My jaw cramped from fear, My wet fingers clutched the blanket. The door creaked and opened. The wind taunted me, moaning inside the tin drains. Now, you'll see. The door was wide open. The darkness writhed inside the carnivorous mouth of the doorway. It was as if the night itself was calling out to me, flapping its black wings and squeaking with rusty hinges. I was trembling, ensnared by the web of darkness that hung in the corners of my room, waiting for the one who weaved it to come out of the gaping black hole. My abdomen tightened, and my chest rose up, ready to exhale a desperate scream. But before I was able to do anything, the darkness asked me,
Ты спишь, Тоша?
Tosha, are you asleep? My sister's pale face protruded from the thick shadows. I almost screamed from relief.
Оля, я не сплю. Что случилось?
Oya? I'm not sleeping. Did something happen? Oya frowned and stuck out her lower lip, a clear sign that she was about to cry. Oh, Tony, thank you so much for the lurk. Have a good rest of your day. Oh, and thank you for the hydrate and stretch. It's like, honestly, I'm just remembering that Tony is the nickname for Anton, who's our MC, so it'll probably be pretty freaky to hear that in the game. And thank you for the head pats.
Оно опять прилетело и пялится на меня.
It's there again, staring at me.
Прогони ее, Тоша. Прогони, пожалуйста.
Shoo her away, Tosha. Please.
Я так боюсь.
I'm so scared. The fear that was tormenting me just a minute ago crawled away and hid somewhere in my stomach. I needed to calm Oya down.
Это был сон, глупая. Не пугайся. Сны не кусаются. Никто тебя не обидит.
It was just a dream, silly. Don't be scared. Dreams don't bite. No one's gonna harm you. Oya sobbed. She was trying her best to believe me. But was I sure myself?
У меня есть идея.
I have an idea.
Пойдем к тебе в комнату, видик посмотрим. Спящую красавицу, например.
Let's go to your room and watch the video Sleeping Beauty, for example.
Тебе же нравится этот мультик?
You like that cartoon, don't you?
Почему у спящей красавицы принца у меня эта страшная птица?
Why does the Sleeping Beauty have a prince and I have this scary bird? That question took me by surprise. I like owls, but, you know, I do feel like birds are pretty commonly used in horror. Like, there's this horror game called Mr. Owl that's like a... I don't want to spoil it too much, but basically it's like a stuck in time sort of deal.
Ладно, давай посмотрим Золушку.
Alright, let's watch Cinderella. My thoughts became tangled, fuzzy. What was that? What studied me with its eyes while dancing feverishly under the moon? The darkness was clinging to the window, and it couldn't be fooled by Grandma's old chants. It couldn't be satisfied with a feast of lard and long ashen hair.
Тоша, ты идешь?
Tosha, are you coming? I feel like I see eyes in the doorway, but maybe I'm just imagining that.
Да, да, сейчас.
Yes, just a moment. Okay. I was right. Ugh. Anyway, yeah. That's why I didn't want to laugh at Olya and her owl in the morning. Who could be visiting us here in the middle of nowhere? We don't know anyone around here. So persistent. I felt extremely unsettled just from a silly thought that our morning guest could have come from the woods. I could barely hear voices coming from the front door. My mind was urging me to hide. In the closet, under the table, behind the curtains, where Oya always hides. Come here. I felt like kettlebells were tied to my feet, but still dragged them toward the hallway. I may have flinged something. Oh no, Val. Oh no. Yeah. That was a scary one, especially because it's like, there's not very much animation in the game, but they really took the time to put that jump scare in there. Here, I'll give you a hug. I can't even get my command right. There we go. A couple of policemen towered over me in the doorway. They smelled like frost and worry. My mom always winced and grumbled the moment she saw patrol cars. Worse than bandits. At the moment, though, she looked somewhat confused.
Здравствуйте.
Hello. Oh yeah, здравствуйте. Wait, здравствуйте? I think I was still wrong. The senior officer, who wore a grim expression, nodded.
Тут мальчик вчера потерялся. Вовой зовут.
A boy had gone missing yesterday. His name is Vova.
Глянь, пожалуйста. Ты его не видел?
Look at this, please. Have you seen him? The policeman held out a photograph to me. There was a ginger boy around the age of elementary school pictured, with a wall carpet as the backdrop. He had a striped cat in his hands and wore a wide smile.
Нет.
No, I haven't.
Точно? Посмотри внимательней.
Are you sure? Look closely.
Где мне его видеть? Я тут никого не знаю, да и из дома-то почти не выхожу.
Where would I see him? I don't know anyone around here. I barely leave the house.
А может, видел в окно?
Well, maybe you've seen him from the window.
Да, у тебя ведь окна на лес.
That's right. Your windows look straight at the forest, don't they? The window.
Нет, не видел.
No, I haven't seen anything.
Ясно.
I see. He sounded tired, but his eyes, his stare, long and heavy, was full of suspicion. I squirmed unwittingly under the weight of guilt, which his giant shadow cast over me. This kind of part here, where I'm not really sure how reliable our narrator is. I mean, one, because he's a kid, but even his like perspective about the policeman being suspicious of him, because I'm like, in my head, it really wouldn't make sense for them to feel that way about him. This family's just moved here. He hasn't even been to school yet. Wouldn't really make sense. I don't know. The policeman finally tore his eyes from me, and I glanced over the hallway. Stairway, cracks in the ceiling, which I haven't noticed for some reason.
Вы, кстати, как на новом месте? Попривыкли уже?
How do you like your new place, by the way? Getting used to it?
Понемногу, только вот дочка маленькая по городу скучает.
Bit by bit. It's just our little daughter misses the city a lot.
Скучает, значит. Из местных вас никто не беспокоит?
Misses the city, huh? Have the locals been treating you well?
Все хорошо, спасибо.
Yes, everything is alright, thank you. The policeman pierced through me one more time with his gray eyes. My head started spinning.
Может, вам помочь как-то?
Um, can I help you somehow? I asked that in a shaky voice to look like a polite boy and to end this unpleasant conversation sooner.
Я вот стою и думаю,
Now that I think about it,
ты, малец, на племеша моего похож.
you look like one of my nephews, little fella.
Шустрый парнишка твоих лет. С такими же окулярами. Все книжками зачитывался, детективами.
He's a witty boy around your age, wears the same type of goggles. Always engrossed in reading those mystery novels.
Когда летом погостить приезжал, говорит, что в школу милиции мечтает поступить.
Told me he wants to enroll in police school when his family visited this summer.
Как я. Хотел людям помогать. Смекаешь?
Wanted to help other people, just like me. See? I felt uncomfortable, as if a distant relative and not a police officer stood before me.
Ох, ребятушки,
You know what?
сидите-ка вы лучше дома. Не ввязывайтесь ни во что. Жизнь сейчас совсем другая пошла.
Little boys like you should stay at home, steer away from trouble. Times have changed so much. Mom interjected in a cold voice.
Мне ли не знать?
You don't say.
Ну да ладно.
Ah, well then.
Ты, Антон, в каком классе учишься?
What grade are you in, Anton?
В 6.
6th.
Друзей-то на новом месте еще не завел?
Have you made any friends here so far?
Пока нет. Я только после каникул в школу пойду.
Not yet. I'll be going to school for the first time after break.
Тогда вот вам на всякий случай мой номер. Звоните, если
Then I'll leave you my
узнаете
number.
что.
Just in case. Call me if you have any new info. The policemen were gone along with their shadows, the smell of cheap cologne, and the photo of a smiling boy. His face still stood before my eyes. I wonder what it was like for him, being all alone, there. For some reason, I thought of the forest, swaying in the wind. What did his poor parents feel? What would my parents do if I'd gone missing? Would they cry and thrash around hysterically? Or would they accuse each other, like they always do, and forget about me, eventually?
Мам, а Вова этот в нашем лесу заблудился?
Mom, this Fova, did he go missing in our forest?
Выходит, что так. Бедный ребенок.
Seems like it. Poor child. I looked out the window, at the road. The police UAZ drove off toward the village. Off-road freight passenger car. Produced on the Ulyanovsk car factory. The officer's nephew came to mind when I was splitting off old paint from the windowsill. I remembered all the teenage mystery novels from the Black Kitty series I read this summer. Oh, Black Kitty. Has anyone read those? Your average boys and girls investigated all sorts of mysteries there. Hi, Gooey. Such spook. And hey there, Tuma. How are you doing today? What do you spook? Yes, we're doing some spooky reading today. They looked for clues, spied on suspicious people, and after a set of amazing adventures, bam, solved any complicated case. They became local celebrities and must have made their parents very proud. I noticed a trail of policemen's footprints that led to the forest, and then it clicked in my head. Why don't I start an investigation of my own? Maybe I'll find that lost boy, and I'll get a reward. Olya would be so happy. Not only Olya, Mom and Dad too. Maybe they'll even forget about their quarrels for a while. Big brain right here. Maybe I'll even save us from the D word. worries, JP. I'm always happy to have you here. Have you on board. Means a lot. I hope work's been treating you well. Yeah, it's a visual novel. Um, Horror and I would say combination of like psychological and I mean we had a pretty good jump scare earlier. I fantasized about buying Olia a Tamagotchi and getting a cassette player and a bunch of tapes for myself. And a whole box of Kinder Surprise. When was the last time our parents bought us any toys? Last autumn, I think. My dad had lost his job at the time. There's that annoying song about it. Accountant by an all-female Soviet pop band by the name of Kombinatsia. Sorry. Oh, Kombinatsia. I don't know. I had a little to no idea what the accountant's job. I had little to no idea what was the accountant's job like. They count money, I think? Thank you for the hug, JP. Try to take it easy when you can. Worry about you sometimes, JP. I mainly read Foreign Realms books when I was younger, and a little bit of Terry Pratchett. Oh, Terry Pratchett, that's the one that does like the sci-fi, right? Sci-fi novels? Of like magic lore sort of stuff. Fantasy. That's yeah. I think that's the word I was actually looking for. I'm not familiar with Forgotten Realms though. But would you say that's kind of your favorite genre of book though? Is the fantasy? No, that's Douglas Adams. Pratchett is Discworld. I don't think they were saying Forgotten Realms was Terry Pratchett. I took it as like I like Forgotten Realms and I also like Terry Pratchett. Discworld, that sounds really familiar. I don't know. I guess I'll share this short story. I once I read at least part of a Terry Pratchett book because there was someone I had a crush on that was like, this is my favorite like book series. Here, like read this book, and I was like, I guess I'll try it. But I wasn't reading it for pure intent. I didn't have pure intentions when I read it, so I don't feel like I really got to appreciate it. And I couldn't even tell you which book it was, honestly. But I think I do remember them talking about the Discworld series. Fantasy is indeed my favorite genre when it comes to books. Alright, but when it comes to games, then what would you say your favorite genre is? And I open that question up to anybody in chat. I always love to learn more about you guys. Neighbors used to envy us. But nowadays, mom and dad barely had enough money to afford sweets. And dad would always divide a single chocolate bar between me and Olia. Sometimes I gave her my share too. No matter how much I wanted to eat sweets, she was still just a pipsqueak. I couldn't wait to go out looking for clues.
Пойду погуляю.
I'm going outside.
Ага, сейчас.
Yeah, right.
Чтобы потом милиционеры с твоей фотографией по домам ходили.
Yeah. Um, what if we take this normal thing X and put it to this fantasy world, or this fantasy land Y, and see what happens? Definitely a good formula for fun. Tua, you naughty baka. I actually haven't really played many hentai games. Um, does Nekopara count as a hentai game? I really just I played the one with Cantina Star. She played it on 'cause you can't play a lot of those games on Twitch 'cause you know they're real sticklers about sexual content and stuff. Eh, I think it was Picarto, something like that. Oh my gosh, that was an interesting game. Let's and not in like, wow, that was like a really good game. I definitely recommend it for everyone, but more so just how whack the story was. But I mean, that's not why we play hentai games, right? But not for the story. Um, have you ever heard of Paksu, the Finnish mega RPG? Hmm. I've got some standards too of old due to my nickname. And fantasy or sci-fi. Nice, nice. Seriously though, this art style is rather interesting as it keeps flipping with stylized photos to anime. Yeah, I wonder how many people worked on the art for this. I really like it. It's, I feel like it has a very unique look in terms of games. I saw someone play Katawa Shoujo a while ago. What's that one about? Oh dear God, I will whisper you. I did hear about this. I have to Google it. A Finnish masterpiece where all the names are different ways to say thick in Finnish or something similar. What? And now you got my curiosity piqued.
Лес вон какой густой.
Did I read that? I was like, do you want the police to go around with your photograph next? The forest is so thick.
А если мальчика звери дикие утащили? Или того хуже?
What if the boy got snatched up by wild animals? Or something even worse? Even worse, echoed through the hallway.
Да я рядом буду. В лес не пойду.
I won't go far. I'll stay away from the forest.
Что я тебе сказала? Мне дважды повторять.
Did you hear what I said? Or should I repeat myself?
Лучше портфель собери или соли поиграй.
Better go pack your school bag or play with Olya. The sound of splashing water came from the kitchen. It meant that the argument was over and Mom had the last word. Eyeball. There's all the things we could look at. My parents prohibit me from making long distance calls, but from time to time I really want to hear my old friends. Sometimes I would just pick up the phone, listen to the low hum of the zoomer and the distant crackling, imagining the wind howling in the ice-leaden cords. This cross had seen so many people come and go into this house. It was black, as if it had absorbed all human sin from the long years it was hanging under the ceiling. After Grandma died, Mom was going to take it off and hang a horseshoe in its place as a lucky charm. But she cut herself with the cross's sharp corner and almost fell from the stepladder. Dad called it a sign from above and ordered the cross to be left alone in its rightful place. Jeez. Mom's peg top, a family relic. Is that what they call spinners there? A peg? My mom played with it when she was little, and then she gifted it to me. Olya was next in the succession line. The toy belonged to her now. She stared at the dancing spindle as if it could show her something. a fairy tale, or maybe even our future. I know it from a Let's Play by Laura K. Buzz. How should I describe it? I'm curious. In the most Twitch safe terms of service way you can. Now even my little sister was a bit too old for the squeaky peg top. Okay, we can't go there yet. The dark, stuffy closet. Mom says it smells like mice, but how would she know their smell? She hates it when I stick my nose in there. She's afraid I'll cut myself with the freshly sharpened axe. And Olya can't even be lured close to it. She thinks Babai is living there. I tried to help her fight her fears once. I opened the door and turned on a dim lamp so she would see there was nothing but cobwebs, bad tools, and scratched walls. She still didn't believe me, and I liked to hide in the closet and listen to Olya's count outside. 1, 2, 3. Let her hide from me. And then drag her feet on the creaking floorboards, hoping that she wouldn't need to look for me in the cramped monster's den. Okay, so I think I can... Wait, what? I was gonna try to save. I took a peek at Mom's crossword. She would get very angry when someone gave her advice, so me and Dad faked knowing the answer and being about to reveal it all the time. I smiled at that fleeting thought. Vertical 9 letters, the name of a Philistine deity that protected them from viper bites and had a nickname, the Lord of the Flies. Second letter is E. Grandma kept ice cream for me and Olya in there, but now I could only see meat bits for soup and clumped together pelmeni. I grew to hate them already. Okay, auto, backlog. Is this where I can... Awesome. It was difficult to lie to Mom. There was no other way for me to run away from home.
Мам, там что-то с телевизором случилось.
Mom, there's something wrong with the TV. Look at that damn fridge. Dirty as shit on the side. Hey now, it's tough out here, man. These winters are brutal. You start trying to clean and the rag freezes. But how are you doing today, Max? Oh, you've had pelmeni? What is it?
Картинка какая-то тусклая, и экран весь в полосах.
The picture's dim and there are stripes all over the screen. Mom's face became visibly distorted.
Без ножа меня режешь.
Ah,
Настрелялся в уток своих.
you're killing me here. So have you had enough of shooting those stupid ducks now?
Говорила же, посадите мне кинескоп своей приставкой.
I told you the kinescope will go dim because of your console.
Где мы теперь мастера найдем в дыре этой, а?
Where will we find a TV technician in this hole, huh? How many is like small meatballs inside? Oh, that sounds good. Pretty good.
Может быть, просто настройки сбились?
Maybe it's just the settings.
Сходи, посмотри, пожалуйста.
Please, go see for yourself.
Нормально же работал с утра.
Strange, it worked fine this morning.
Из-за снегопада, наверное, неполадки.
Maybe the snowfall caused it. Mom ripped her hands clean on her apron and went to Olya's room. Does she just wear the apron like all day? Senior Lieutenant Tikhonov, Konstantin Vladimirovich. There's no time for this. Mom will come back soon. Okay. We're making a run for it, dudes. I opened the front gate and went into the fields. Carefully, so Mom wouldn't see me from the window. When I crossed half the distance toward the forest, snow piles became as high as my knees. Good with fries. Gotta give him a quick boil first, though. Ooh. Sounds very yummy. Would eat. I like all sorts of balls. Meatballs. Food. I remembered my nightly fears. I saw those silhouettes around here. They were jumping around, holding hands. Oh yeah, no worries, Tony. That hypnotizing music started playing in my head all on its own. In the light of day, those distant figures felt like a simple dream. The sun turned my nightmares to ash, but the aftertaste was still there, distant ringing in my ears. Distorted shadows crawling on the snow alongside, and a barely audible whisper in my head, blurry and almost kind. Everything was silent. So silent, I felt like the world was totally empty. No ground, no sky, no parents, no Oya. The time reached its limit. A one-way trip that ended at the forest's tiny stockade. Sometimes silence was much scarier than any scream. Our parents would scream at each other while arguing, and both me and Oya turned to stone, listening to them. But then always came a ringing silence. Our apartment became numb a couple of days before we departed. It was hard to remember the last time Mom and Dad joked around, laughing or spent time together, almost like all of it was in a previous life. When they kissed with Oya present, she always frowned and snorted in a funny way. But one day it all changed. Something important had left our home. And something scary filled the remaining void. It was as if a fire broke out, and our parents were hurriedly packing our belongings, trying to save themselves and us. From who, though? From the people with dead cold eyes who sometimes visited us in our previous home? The eyes that only saw balls of worms, black ground, and everything. And somewhere far away, a siren was going off, trying to warn us of the coming menace. I shuddered, chasing away my delusion, and looked around. Does anyone know what his hat says? In Cyrillic alphabet. I shuddered, chasing away my delusion, and looked around. There were only me, this white field, and the wind that was whipping up icy dust and belts of powdered snow. I squinted from the sun and turned my eyes to the sunless forest. It looked especially dark in contrast with the blinding whiteness. Knobby tree roots slithered under snow like fat snakes. Rotten leaves and coniferous needles frozen to the ice. We got ourselves a bit. Dry, prickly branches, intertwined, bringing up uncomfortable thoughts about fences. Were they protecting the forest? Or were they keeping something from breaking out? Some object was hanging from one of the pointy branches. I tried to get closer, drowning in snow, and when I almost got to the edge of the forest, I saw a knitted mitten. It looked like a wounded bird among the hungering semi-dark. Should I take it to the police? Oh. Okay. Their senior officer looked gloomy, but he still reminded me of Captain Casanova from my favorite TV show called The Streets of Broken Lights. Story of daily life of Russian police officers. Oh, longest running TV series in Russian TV. He was always anxious with a tired look in his eyes, but still brave and strong. Welcome back, Tony. Will this mitten help them find the lost boy? Vova. I heard a distant shout. Looked like it came from the river. Vova. As if the trees were calling out to someone. Vova sounded closer to me. Someone was standing there, behind the trees, hiding. I knew someone was looking for the lost boy, but still, something was unsettling about that figure. Its stillness, how it was bent unnaturally towards the ground, its blackness. Guys, should we take this mid? No one there, just branches and roots. It's all just my imagination. A nearby bird flapped its wings loudly. A shadow split from the tree and disappeared from my sight. I looked away for just a moment, and when I turned my gaze back to the same place, it was gone. So it was my imagination after all. Silence reigned for a painfully long time. My muscles were tightly sprung. My heart was beating somewhere in my throat. Any noise, any little movement, any small whisper from the thicket, and I'd sprint. But nothing of that sort happened. I looked at the mitten once more. Okay. Hold time. I don't know if this is timed, but I'm gonna run a poll anyways because I need to get some tissues. So we either run away or we take the mitten. The hat says sport. Oh, nice, thank you. Makes sense. I am back. Thanks for letting me go grab some tissues and refill my drink. Looks like Mitten is the winner. Thank you. Good to be back. Get this Mitten. I decided to take the lonely Mitten from the branch. Gross. Well, oh, it's leaving footsteps, right? A shout rumbled across the field and dissolved into the distance. No echo. No hope for a reply. I stepped toward the bristly trees and tried to claim my find. It didn't budge. I pulled harder. The branch cracked and the mitten tore off, landing in my hand with a squishy sound. All too heavy. Wet. I squeezed it without thinking and something dark spilled from it, forming a tiny string between the mitten and snow. Steam rose from the snowy pile. Oh no! Grape jelly! I froze in place, studying my palms in disgust. Red. Strawberry jelly! The sound of crackling branches invaded the silence. I didn't have to think twice before running away. Someone was chasing me from the darkness, breaking pine branches, closing the distance with giant leaps. Snow was slowing me down. Crazy thoughts flew through my mind. I'll get caught. They'll get me. I'll get dragged into the thicket. I'll be gone. Forever. But there was one more voice. Probably one of reason. It gave me strength. Spurred me on. You can do it. Don't stop. Gotcha. I heard an animal roar behind me. Nice one, Athena. It was so loud, my ears went numb. It felt like the sound had come from a pack of hungry beasts, rather than a single one. Their nostrils sucked in freezing air. They sensed my fear. Two giant wings flapped above my head. An enormous shadow flew over the clearing. A hoot, a wheeze. The roars were coming from all directions now. From the dried up raspberry bush, from twisted pines, from under the windfall. Hurry, run, don't look back. Athena. It felt like I was inside a nightmare. The snowy clearing became viscous like quicksand. I was stuck in place. I pulled my leg from the from the mushy trap, just to be caught in a new one, even deeper than before. I continued to drown, sinking deeper and deeper with every desperate push. Was snow ever this sticky? I screamed in horror after realizing this wasn't snow. Someone or something in the snow pile was clutching at my pants. I gathered all my strength and rushed forward. The pressure on my leg was gone. My boots slipped out of the hole, and my soles were on a hard surface again. I reached the clear path with one jump, and from there, ran to my house. Its gloomy facade didn't look threatening now. That house was my line of defense from the shadows that flapped their wings and the creatures that were hidden under the snow. I tripped over the doorstep and smashed into the door. In all my hurry, I still managed to notice the claw marks, as if a dog was striking the wood with its paws, demanding to be let in so it could escape the cold. I hadn't noticed these marks when I was leaving. The heartbeat in my ears was much louder than my surroundings. I couldn't hear them, whether someone was following me or not. What if they were already in our front yard and Mom had locked the door? Drowning in fear, I pulled on the doorknob and it obediently gave way. I rolled into the hallway.
Big, meaty claws!
Nice one. Well done. Bravo. Thanks for the Athena. I rolled into the hallway and shut the door behind me. Porch planks creaked as my pursuers ascended the stairs. Yeah, that timing was chef's kiss. My fingers slipped off the lock and I couldn't click it into place. I gritted my teeth and pulled hard on the iron knob, whipping it between the boards. I stared blankly at the door. Someone was standing on the other side of the pitiful, flimsy barrier that was probably less useful than blankets. Wheezing breath reached into the house and it crashed at me. Wait. Wheezing breath reached into the house and crashed at me in waves. It smelled of pine and sweat. Mom peeked out of the kitchen and chastised me with the same frigid voice she always used when talking to Dad.
Что конкретно тебе не ясно в просьбе не хлопай дверьми?
What exactly didn't you understand when I told you to never slam the door?
Я случайно.
I didn't mean to. I stuck a glance at the door. So she didn't realize you were outside? The smell was gone, and the breath was too. If there was someone in the first place, of course. Here, a mere 5 meters away from Mom, my fear was slowly weakening, melting like snow in spring. And with it, the last bit of strength I had left my body too. My legs gave way. I propped myself up against the wall so I wouldn't fall over. Mom's expression had changed immediately. The cold mask of strictness and attachment was gone. Mom looked the same as before all those quarrels. She finally saw my condition. My wet pants plastered with snow.
Ты где был? Я тебе что говорила, а? Чтобы ты дома сидел.
Where have you been? What did I tell you, huh? I told you to stay home.
Я и для тебя пустое место.
Am I nothing to you?
I love you. And
I miss you. Hi, Ranker. How you doing? How was your stream? Or maybe you're still streaming. I got afraid she would cry. I reached out to her like when I was very little and wanted her to cuddle me. But Mom regained her composure fast and put on her usual face. Her eyes shone like steel. Her voice rang out.
У отца сигареты пропали.
Your dad can't find his cigarettes.
Признавайся, ты их стащил? Курить бегаешь?
Be honest. Did you snatch them? Were you smoking in secret?
Там за мной кто-то гнался. Я думал, меня...
There was someone chasing me. I thought. I stuttered as soon as I started explaining myself. Tears welled up in my eyes. Mom leaned toward me and sniffed my clothes like a beast, searching for the smell of tobacco. Okay, be real, guys. Do you guys, like, smell like other people for things? Like, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this, but, like, sometimes I'll be like, I don't know. I feel like I used to have a really good sense of smell, and I would just, until I realized it was weird, I would like, I gotta stop. Just gonna stop. Searching for the smell of tobacco. Oh, thanks for the lurk, Ranker. Oh, hold on. It was nice to finally stream, though. I still have no idea about how I feel about it. How is your stream going? I've seen you played something different earlier. Yeah, I played Kukiyomi earlier. It's like a game about being polite. It's not a very long game, so they like got through it. I could probably play it again now that I have a better sense of what you're supposed to be doing. Um, but I decided I wanted to switch to another game after we completed it, and after a vote, we landed on Tiny Bunny. Um, but it's fun to come back to this. It's been a while. This black and white gives this game a really good atmosphere. Oh, absolutely. I really feel like it wouldn't even be the same game if they had put color in. She then squinted in her eyes in suspicion and looked into the front yard. Her expression changed in an instant, and she covered her mouth with her hand.
Гляди, вон же они. Прямо у забора.
Look over there, at the fence. My heart started thumping as if I became prey once again, and my pursuers were following me in the field. I could swear that I've heard something scratch at the door, just like in my nightmare. Mom beckoned me with her finger, and I gathered all of my remaining bravery to look into the kitchen window, facing my fear. I could barely discern some hairy silhouettes in the snow through the icy winter patterns on the glass. Doggies! Arr, 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 arr. Just a small pack of strays, no name and owner, barely reminding of the hungry monsters that live on the edge of the forest.
Божечки, ты их испугался? Да они сами тебя перепугаются, Антон.
This is like another one of those situations where I'm just like kind of tuning in again, like how reliable is our main character as a source of what's actually happening in reality. Oh, looks like I missed a few things. Oh, hey Browning, how are you doing? Well, howdy to you too. Oh boy. You were scared of them? I think they'd rather be scared of you, Anton.
Они гнались за мной, словно за зайцем.
They were chasing me like a bunny. I mean, if you run near a dog, usually a dog will chase you.
А вдруг они бешеные?
I do that with my dogs sometimes too, because they like it. But, you know, they're also not like strays, and yeah. I mean, this would be a concern, a valid concern if they're rabid. And what if they're rabid? Well, that's good to hear, Browning. I'm doing pretty well. Just, I grabbed some, or when I refilled my drink, instead of getting more water, I actually grabbed some limeade, which is hitting just right. Nice for a beautiful day like this. Oh, funny, like the title of the game. Whoa, title drop. The smile had slowly disappeared from Mom's face. Now she looked at the dogs as if it was her first time seeing them.
Что если они нападут на Олю?
What if they attack Olya?
Мам,
Вот бы твой отец их всех перестрелял.
I wish your dad could just shoot them all. Whoa. Hello.
мама,
That's quite a
живые.
reversal. Mom, look, they're alive.
А что?
Huh? What?
Ты уж определись, они тебе друзья или враги?
Are they your friend or foe, after all? Make up your mind.
Не маленький ведь уже.
You make up your mind, lady. You're not a little kid anymore. Well, some detective I am. In reality, I wasn't risking my life among monsters, but rather my pants among a pack of stupid strays. And what for? What use do I have for this? Mitten. Of course. A darkened, sticky mitten that belonged to the lost boy made a squishy sound in my hand. Seems like I was clutching it the whole time. That's my trump card as a detective. I hurried to present this clue to my mom.
Мам, смотри, это Вовина варежка.
Mom, look, this is Vova's mitten. Okay, it's a mitten. We don't know if it belongs to Vova. Jump to conclusions.
Ну того, про которого утром милиция спрашивала.
That boy the police were asking about in the morning.
Она вся в
It's
крови.
drenched in
На дереве
blood.
висела. Вон там, могу показать.
I found it hanging on a tree. I can show where.
Давай в милицию скорее позвоним, как нас участковый просил.
Let's call the police right away, like the officer had told us to.
Мам, гляди!
Mom, look. Yeah, Browning, have you ever heard of this, story before? Or this game? Tiny Bunny?
Фу!
Ew. A shadow of doubt slowly crept in onto my mom's contorted face, as if she was trying to remember something distant, like someone tries to remember their dream, but the images slip away.
А ну-ка прекрати сейчас же.
Stop at this moment.
Оля тебя услышит, с ума сойдет.
Oya will go insane if she hears you. That's an unfortunate drip. Yeah. I mean, he's really chill about, like, having his fist, like, covered in someone else's blood. Like, if I had touched something and I realized it was blood, I think I would have probably just let go of it immediately. Because you can catch, like, diseases and stuff from just, like, blood just being out there like that. But he's a kid. What does he know?
Она и так не спит. На все подряд жалуется.
She already has trouble sleeping and whines all the time.
Еще и ты со своими шуточками.
And you joke around like this? At that moment, I realized the mitten was actually wet from snow. That's not a common mistake. There was no blood whatsoever. I wanted to sink through the floor from embarrassment.
Иди сюда, паникер.
Come here, my boy who cried wolf.
Да не стой столбом. Вот, таблетку на. Быстро
Oh.
пей.
Don't just stand there. Come take your pills. Yoink. A golden-colored pill, reminiscent of a dead wasp, fell into my palm.
Я уже пил сегодня, за завтраком.
I already took one during breakfast.
Попререкайся мне еще.
Don't talk over me.
Сказала дома сидеть. Нет же.
I told you to stay home. And you...
Был бы отец, выпорол.
Uncomfortable. Very uncomfy. This kid needs a professional. Yeah. Cause I'm like, the wolf we saw, like, in his flashback, like, that probably didn't happen. And yeah, blood doesn't just, you don't just, like, mistake blood for snow. They're so different. Dad would have given you a good whipping for that.
Сейчас же выпей, а то ночью
Come
не
on.
уснешь.
Take
Ты
it,
ведь в школу завтра.
or you won't be able to sleep at night, and you have school tomorrow. So I had to swallow the bitter medication, drinking it down with similarly awful water that gave it the taste of chlorine. Oh, that sucks. When you have to take a medicine that, like, has a nasty taste, you gotta drink that with, like, milk or something. Maybe it wasn't Vova's mitten. Maybe it wasn't a mitten at all. Just like the forest monsters. And Olya's owl. Am I going mad? What's happening to me? Either the pill had an immediate effect, or my overexerted brain didn't let fear inside anymore. Serenity washed over me, bringing yawny indifference along with it. So, yawny. I wonder what type of pill this is
Антон,
supposed to be.
Выпил?
Like an
Можешь, если
antidepressant?
захочешь.
Anton, you done? See? You can do it when you try.
Раздевайся.
Take
Уснул,
off your
что ли?
coat. Are you asleep?
Нет, мам, просто задумался.
I was just thinking.
Интересно, о чем же?
What about, I wonder?
Так, глупости всякие.
It's just something silly. Even the viscosity of blood is different. Like, bruh. Give this kid some herbs or something. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, is like, I mean, blood is way more viscous, and like, I mean, the color alone, I mean, there's just so much to consider why that doesn't make any sense of why you would get that confused. But he's on some sort of medication. Mom scrutinized me with suspicious eyes. I do wonder how much of this is like obviously this background of the parents like being in a really bad place relationship wise and him being worried about their divorce is obviously causing him a lot of stress, and maybe somehow feeding into some of this, like, but I do wonder how much of these like paranormal parts like are actually real, or if any of it will be real. I'm actually surprised I understand that much Russian. Nice. You'll be our translator. As if she wasn't sure, she was looking at her own son and not some doppelganger that came from the forest.
Точно все нормально?
Is everything all right?
У тебя такое лицо было, когда милиционер про окно спросил.
You had the exact same expression when the policeman asked you about the window.
Все нормально, мам.
I'm alright, Mom. I only understood like spasiba, which is like thank you, and I think he said zdravitya like at the when he was talking with the police officer, and that's like the formal way to say hello. And that's about all the Russian I remember. She heaved a deep sigh.
Хорошо.
Fine. It seemed like the house had changed. You and me both, girl. The sofa's fabric had become discolored. Fingerprints appeared on the bathroom tiles. The light bulbs also felt different, dimmer and yellower. Even the saliva inside my mouth had a different taste. A melody from Aladdin could be heard from the upper floor. Oya was done rewatching her favorite Little Mermaid episodes and switched to the other tapes. It'll be cool when all these Disney things go into the public domain, and then games can just like straight up just show it, right? Although I guess they probably still wouldn't be able to just play the music. Of the Stravitya, I don't know. That one's hard. It's like a ZD sound. I'm doing the best I can, okay? And you know my Polish pronunciation is even worse. I think I've forgotten everything that I didn't learn. I slowly changed into my home clothes, stopped before the sink, and studied my reflection in the mirror, like I was trying to solve one of those spot the difference puzzles. Then I went upstairs. Jafar and Iago's voices died down. Look at this little robot dude. I walked past Olya's bedroom and slipped into my own. My Triceratops figurine. I know all sorts about dinosaurs. Velociraptors, Afroventators, huh? Hypsilophodonts? I remember going to the movies to see Jurassic Park, back when we still lived in the city, and taking pictures with the T-Rex in the hall. It turned its head and roared. Roar! It was awesome! And then next to it was a Robotech Transformer. I love this cartoon. When a jet fighter speeds up, in the intro, among the sounds of blaster fire, you know your next 20 minutes will surely be amazing. Zentradi space station is captured. Rick, get ready for battle. And then it was here. I've dreamt of becoming an artist since Dad bought me my first comic book. Fly magazine was the coolest. I especially liked the big space-related edition with alien monsters and that funny episode about a gendarme. Um, adult magazine. Oh, I wonder if it's like, what's that one with that redheaded dude on there? That's like that, um, what is that? It's like a comedy magazine in the States, and it's got like this redheaded dude, and he's on like every cover. I think they had a TV show too, Mad Magazine, MAD, I think that's what it was. I started drawing all kinds of stuff since that day, and I seem to be getting pretty good at it. I'm just a bear, for goodness sakes. That's right. I'm just a bear. And just Disney will find a new way to finagle something so the copyrights still remain. We'll see. They already got that Winnie the Pooh horror movie on the way. Robotech, huh? UAZ and GIZ. I had to change to meet these mechanic miracles in Army. Yeah, that's the one, Val. Mad Magazine. I remember reading some of those when I was like a teen. Thinking it was like, oh, look at me, I'm reading this adult magazine and I get the jokes. I don't know that I really did get all the jokes, but yeah, I'm thinking it's something similar to that. One of my letters even got published in Fly once. Maybe someday they'll even publish my comic? Oh, that's a nice dream. And this? What was the last one? Oh. There's feet! Do you see that? There's feet. The forest didn't look as grim during the day. Entangled branches in the distance and the snowy field between our house and the forest brought sleepiness to my eyes. But sometimes I would catch myself looking in the window at the icy treetops instead of doing my homework. Guys, this is practice for when we play observation duty. Just like noticing this shit. Although I feel like this took me a bit longer than it should have to see. One of the drawers was empty. I hid the policeman's phone number along with the mitten there. This simple action drained the last bit of strength from me. Okay, I just have to say, as someone who does knit, I love the attention to detail here. This looks really good. Like, even getting like the stitches texture in, I'm very impressed. I sat on the bed. And only then I noticed that there was someone behind the curtains. My tired hand dropped to the sheets. Whether it was due to medication I took or stress I underwent, the room began to contort, and as if the wind was blowing the walls out like a pair of sails. The corners of the room bent and undulated. The only stable thing in the whole room was the figure between the windowsill and the curtains. A flimsy piece of cloth was stuck to my hidden visitor. It reminded me of burial sheets.
Оля,
Oya? Who else would be standing there? I stood up and licked my dried up lips.
Оля, очень смешно.
Yeah, Oya, it's so funny. The silhouette was unmoving. It was enveloped softly by the curtains, as if there was a thick layer of darkness there, not a human being. I reached toward the curtains. Ba-dum. Beat my heart, controlled by medication. The wind sang in the field with a chorus of voices. Sorry, I gotta blow my nose. For a second, I wanted to return to the bed. Just lay down and watch the person behind the curtain, knowing full well they were looking back at me. They're looking without blinking, waiting for me to fall asleep. Plastic rings rustled against the holder when I pulled open the curtains.
Попался!
Gotcha!
Да я сразу понял, что это ты.
I knew it was you from the beginning. A blindingly bright halo lit up above Olya's head. with the setting sun as the background. Oh, she's got something bunny on her. So is she the bunny or are we the bunny? My sister was shining. When she was just a baby, Dad always used to say she was shining with happiness. I always retorted, "But Dad, she's not some flashlight." I brought her to the window one day, and sunlight poured on her smiling face. I felt like I was holding a light, woven child.
А я все видела.
I saw everything.
Да ну!
Oh, really?
Что ты спрятал?
What did you hide? She was just like my mom when she was little, before she put on her sad mask of tiredness and switched to her commanding tone of voice.
Ничего, просто...
It's nothing. Just nichivo. Olya ran up to the table, her eyes round, and asked,
Ты что-то украл и теперь прячешь?
"You stole something and hid it there?
Ты вор?
Are you a thief?"
Что? Глупая.
What? Don't be stupid.
Ничего я не крал.
I didn't steal anything. The clear image came to mind. That mitten, hanging from a tree branch. What if I did steal it after all? From the forest, from the tilted figure standing behind the black trees. Olya could be selfish and stubborn when she wanted.
Покажи тогда.
Then show me.
Поклянись, что никому не скажешь. Тогда покажу.
Swear that you won't tell anyone. Then I'll show you. Olya wore a plotting smile.
Клянусь маминым сердцем.
I swear on Mom's heart. Rude. An oath she heard in one of those movies about the pioneers we've watched. An umbrella term for communist children organizations existing around the world, somewhat reminiscent of the Scout movement.
Не говори так.
Don't say things like that. Seriously, that's fucked up. Oya nodded and made a gesture with her hand, blocking her mouth with an imaginary key. She was filled with curiosity that was splashing in her giant eyes. I opened a drawer and Oya leaned in, holding her breath. It looked like there was not just a simple mitten, but some sort of exotic critter.
Это чья-то варежка?
I actually had a relative named Oya. Oh, really? It's a pretty name. I like it. She said that as if she couldn't understand what she saw.
Один мальчик потерял. И сам потерялся.
Oh, right. She doesn't even know the story, because they weren't trying to tell her about the police thing. A certain boy lost it, and got lost himself.
Теперь понимаешь, как опасно гулять в лесу, особенно детям?
Now do you understand how dangerous it is for kids to wander into the forest, right?
Ему, наверное, там очень холодно.
He must be really cold out there.
Его найдут?
Will they find him?
Обязательно.
They will.
Участковый по домам ходит, всем фотографию его показывает.
The police are going house to house, showing his photo to everybody. Olya traversed the room with care and pressed her tiny palms against the window.
А почему он по домам ходит, а не по лесу?
And why are they going to the houses and not the forest? Ah, well said.
Боится?
Are they scared? The question caught me off guard.
Милиционеры ничего не боятся.
The police aren't scared of anything.
И лес они прочесали.
They've already scouted the forest. Why didn't they find that bin? Yeah, right, flashed in my clouded mind. Did they really check every nook and cranny? Where darkness, cold, and whispers of icy branches dwell? If that's the case, how did they miss the mitten? Or did it appear later? For me? I changed the topic. as if trying to get Olya as far away as possible from the forest thicket.
Если я сам найду пропавшего мальчика, нам, может, награду дадут.
We may get a reward if I go and find this boy by myself.
Кучу всякого, как в поле чудес.
A lot of stuff, like in the Wheel of Fortune.
Клево же.
Sounds cool, right? Olya wasn't listening to me. She was piercing the forest with incredibly adult eyes, uncharacteristic for her.
А что, если эта сова его утащила?
What if the owl got him?
Ерунда.
Nonsense.
Не может сова поднять человека.
An owl wouldn't be able to lift a human.
Но вот что...
But you know what? I was picking my words with utmost care. I forced them out of my overexerted brain.
Ты в лес не суйся. Мне кажется, он какой-то...
Stay away from the forest. I think it's...
Как бы сказать, проклятый, что ли?
How should I put it? It's cursed or something?
Как в сказке?
Just like in a fairy tale?
Нет, скорее, как на той страшной кассете, что родители прячут.
No, more like in that spooky tape our parents hide from us. Olya shivered and stole a glance at the window.
Я видела, как ты убегал.
I saw you running away.
За тобой кто-то гнался?
Someone was chasing you?
Нет, просто, чтобы мама не волновалась, спешил домой.
No, it's just I was hurrying back home so Mom wouldn't be worried. Oh, Cheesy! Hey there! How are you doing? Good to see you. As I looked at my sister, my heart was tearing apart. She was so fragile. It was so easy to stifle her light. A gust of wind and her small fire would be gone.
Хорошо тебе.
You're lucky.
Меня вот мама не пускает даже на крыльцо.
Mom won't even let me go outside.
Как принцесса в башне сижу. Никуда не могу выйти.
I'm like a princess in the tower. Can't go anywhere.
Так и умру тут от скуки.
I'll die from boredom here. I'm glad to hear that. This is a kind of visual novel, kind of psychological horror game. The premise is that we are this, like, I don't know, 10-year-old boy, out in, like, a Russian winter, and we're kind of in this, I don't know if I would say countryside, but it's like, we moved here from the city to, like, this very small town that's got, like, a very spooky forest, at least from the kids' perspective. And we've just found out that one of the kids in the neighborhood has disappeared. And we're trying to look for the kid too. And so far we found a mitten. Yeah. So just kind of riding the mystery out. But yeah, how's your day been? What have you been up to?
Не придумывай.
You're wrong.
От скуки еще никто не умирал.
No one has ever died of boredom. Give it time.
У тебя же есть я и мультики, а мама с папой скоро помирятся.
And you have me and your cartoons, and Mom and Dad will be good to each other soon.
Знаешь, что бы я загадала на следующий день рождения?
You know what I would wish for on my next birthday?
Чтобы родители тоже в детей превратились. И мы бы все вместе играли, как раньше.
I'd wish for Mom and Dad to turn into children, so we could all go and play together like we used to.
Ага, а если бы они стали размером с жука, то мы бы их в спичечный коробок посадили.
Yeah, and if you make them as small as bugs, we could place them into a little box. Isn't that like the premise of It Takes Two? Olya giggled and tugged at my sleeve.
Тоша, пойдем Аладдина смотреть.
Tosha, let's go watch Aladdin. Fatigue went over my desire to be with my little sister. I was washed over by some sort of heinous apathy. Maybe the drug
Вымотался я.
that he took?
Что-то не хочется.
I'm tired. I don't want to.
Ну пойдем.
I think that there's gonna be a really cool story at the end of all of this. And I really like the art style and just the general aesthetic.
Мне скучно одной, а мама занята все время.
It's so boring alone. And mom is always busy.
Можно выбрать другой мультик, который ты еще не видел.
We can pick a cartoon you haven't seen before.
Да я все наши кассеты наизусть знаю.
I know all of our tapes by heart at this point.
А вот и не все. Ты Питера Пэна не видел.
Not all of them. You haven't watched Peter Pan.
Помнишь, ты уснул на середине?
Remember when you fell asleep in the middle of it?
А там потом такое. Ну пойдем, пойдем.
So much happens after that. Let's go. Let's go.
Давай попозже.
Maybe a bit later.
Рассказать тебе, чем все закончилось?
Should I tell you how it ends?
Утром расскажешь.
Let's leave that for tomorrow.
Утром не захочу.
I won't tell you tomorrow.
Придумала. А давай в прятки.
I know. Let's play hide and seek.
Нет, Оль.
Тогда нарисуй мне динозавра.
Then draw me a dino.
Оля, блин.
Oh yeah, please.
Нарисуй, нарисуй.
Draw it. Draw it.
Да оставь ты меня в покое!
Fuck off. No, just kidding. Leave me alone already. I blurted it out without thinking, and then I was immediately taken aback. I'd never screamed at my little sister like that. Oya stared at me in shock. Her lips started trembling, a precursor to tears. My chest was seething with disgust and embarrassment. What's happening to me? I hurried to prevent Oya from crying.
Ладно, уболтала. Давай смотреть мультики. Только
Oh,
недолго.
alright. You win. Let's go watch cartoons for a bit.
Уже не хочу.
I don't wanna. I came up to her and put my hand on her soft head.
Пойдем.
Let's go.
Питера Пэна посмотрим.
Let's go watch Peter Pan.
Ага, ты опять уснешь.
Boo, you'll fall asleep again. I smiled and lifted her chin. Her eyes were wet and felt bottomless. That's how I watch movies. It takes a few shots before I can watch the whole thing.
Не
I
усну, обещаю.
often fall asleep. I promise, I won't.
А потом я тебе целого трицератопса нарисую.
And I'll draw you a full triceratops later.
Ура!
Hooray!
Трипик! Сири! Попса!
Ну,
Yeah!
почти.
Close enough. Oya rubbed her eyes with the sleeve of her pajamas, and a shining smile returned to her face.
Давай ты пока кассету перемотаешь, а я у мамы попрошу сгущенки с хлебом.
I'll go ask Mom for condensed milk and bread, and you rewind the tape.
Только утром свежий привезли, как ты любишь.
Where did you get doing shots from? I just meant falling asleep. Like if I'm laying on the couch and a movie's on, odds are that I'm gonna fall asleep before the movie ends. That's just how it is. Fresh
Неси,
bread sounds
только
so
аккуратнее,
good
а
right
то
now.
разольешь.
Oh, I love bread! My Oprah impression. Alright. Just be careful not to spill the milk,
Опять ругаться будут.
or you'll be yelled at again. Has anyone ever done that though? Like,
Спорим, не разолью.
condensed milk on sliced bread? Or just any bread? Wanna bet I won't spill it?
Кассета где-то в тумбочке. Поищи пока.
The tape is somewhere in the nightstand. Look for it. Oya disappeared into the doorway, and I dragged my feet to the neighboring room. A piggy bank. Oya is saving money for a real puppy because Dad said that taking care of him will take a lot of money. Oya's countless toys. An old teddy bear is the main attraction here. Olga doesn't sleep without it. Yes. 'Tis the struggle of being a teddy bear. So many people require you to sleep through the night. And she digs her nose into its fur when she sleeps. Boop, boop, boop. Why does that one make sounds? The scary window where Olya sees that accursed owl every night, lurking in the dark. Olya keeps curtains open during the day, but as soon as the twilight comes, she shuts them tight, so she wouldn't see the pair of hungry eyes outside. Oh, it's Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers with the whatever the Russian says here. Nice. Been a minute. The old photon TV was gathering dust in the corner. You can see a reflection of our character here. All that was left was clicking the button on the front panel. The tube warmed up, and a familiar white noise started dancing on the black screen. It takes a few oh, that's what you meant. Side note, condensed milk? Fancy. I don't use condensed milk a lot. I think... I remember the last time I actually used it for something. I almost reached out to turn on the VCR when the noise calmed down and a blurry image appeared for a moment. It was a dark taiga forest, just like the one outside my window. The picture split the screen in half. Something creepy, resembling human speech, was coming out of the speaker. Just a few moments later, the scenery was again overshadowed by noise. Did it catch some rogue signal? Local TV station was only really showed Soviet cartoons, and even that was pretty rare. And only just recently, I used to always watch Robotech before school. It was so awesome. Maybe I should tinker with the antenna. What if I catch this channel again? On the other hand, Olya asked me to find the tape. It wouldn't be nice to disappoint her. But in my sleepy state, I didn't have the strength to do all of it. Okay, decision time. Are we searching? Are we set? Let me get a poll going. Okay, so, we'll say either we're gonna look for the signal, or we're gonna look for DVD. Or look DVD. The VHS. Forgot what time zone we were in. There's no DVDs in this era. Alright, that came just in time. I really had to blow my nose. So yeah, I've got a poll going to decide whether we're gonna try to look for the signal and catch the rest of that message, or look for the Peter Pan DVD. Doing shots while watching movie. I haven't, I don't even think I can remember the last time I did a shot. I like to enjoy my alcohol, like a mixed drink or some wine, something tasty. So the vote is split. Very good, very good. Yes, milady, here's some wine. Well, don't mind if I do. I think I am gonna do a drinking stream. I think it'd be fun to drink during like the fan fiction Friday stuff, but if my nose is still running like this, I probably won't. I might make like sips like channel points or something. I'm just kind of a lightweight, so can't be too much. But yeah, oh no. I will definitely have a cool down on it. There's still time to vote, but vote is currently split right now. Now, technically, I did save a little bit before here, so I could try to get both and see which one we like better. Obviously, look for the VHS. We'll just look for the VHS and we won't look for the signal. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if there are deaths in this game. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can get both. So let's start with the search option. I sifted through the shelves full of dolls and blue hippos from Kinder Surprise. I found the tape I needed thanks to its shabby spine. I got the black rectangle from its box. The tape inside it rustled while rewinding to the beginning. The rustle was lulling me to sleep. Drowsiness attacked me while I was squatting before the TV. Images rolled into my head. Me and Olya flying above the forest, tumbling into the soft clouds. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, it's only backlog. You'll have to go back and pause it. I'm sorry, Rinker. My little sister is laughing, but her smile becomes more and more forced with every passing second. I notice that the clouds underneath us part, bearing the bristly pine tops. Swampy darkness slurped among the trees. The wings are no longer able to hold us. No, yeah.
Ты не смотришь без меня?
You haven't started without me, have you? My sister brought the tray with unevenly cut bread and a whole can of condensed milk. I rubbed my eyes.
Нет, садись.
No, come sit.
Мама с папой опять ругаются.
Mom and Dad are arguing again. Okay, hold on a sec. We're gonna save here. And we're gonna load here. Okay. Skip that. What does the rewind button do? Oh! It like fast forwards. Okay, so now we're at the decision point. Now we will do this. The picture finally cleared up. But the moment I rejoiced at finding the weird signal again, the TV started coughing, a voice barely coming through the cacophony.
Видели его часто.
He was often seen
Именно тогда.
at the moment when small snowy hills were lined up on the screen, pierced with rickety crosses, and a male voice was narrating with a slow, mournful voice.
Стояла беспросветная кладбищенская ночь.
It was a pitch-black night at the cemetery.
В то мрачное время маленькая Сеня встретила свою судьбу в лице чудовищного обитателя дикой чащобы.
In that fateful dark time, little Senya met her fate at the face of a monstrous thicket dweller. Is it me, or does she have like adult hands?
Местные называют его не иначе, как хозяин леса.
The locals call him none other than the forest monster. I froze and did my best not to move, as if by doing that I could scare away the narrator. I listened closely to his every word.
Зверь разобрался с беспомощной девочкой по-хозяйски.
The beast dealt with that helpless girl in a masterful manner. The camera panned across the snow, with something black spilled over it, looking for ragged pieces of cloth that were thrown around all over the place. I didn't want to think whether Senya were trapped in there, so I shut my eyes without thinking. It's not looking good. The voice continued.
Волки здесь редкие гости.
Wolves are rare guests in these parts.
Вот что поведала нам баба Тамара, обитательница одного из местных склепов.
Here's what Tamara, the old woman that lives in a nearby crypt, had to say. A close-up shot of the face of an old homeless woman, weary from life and alcohol abuse, rattled on the screen.
Да, бестия страшенная, хуже мертвеца отрытого.
Yes, yes. Such a fearsome beastie it is. Worse than the rising dead. Yuck. Ew. The woman splattered saliva all over the rectangular mic. Bunny?
И смердит еще, как
And the stink, it's like the rest of her comparison was swallowed up by the sound of a horn.
Не припомню я такой вони.
I've never felt anything like that.
Стояла эта тварюга там, где ты, милок, сейчас стоишь, и таращилась на меня прям посередине дня.
It was just standing there, yes, right where you stand, boyo, and pierced me with its eyes right in the middle of the day.
Здоровенно такая, глаза стеклянные.
Was so huge, that one. Glassy eyes? Obscenities were covered by another beep.
Говорят, что ежели тебе этот дьявол заприметить, то сунет в мешок к себе и дел с концом.
You know, they say if this demon lays its eyes on you, it'll snatch you, put you into his bag, and you're done.
Но меня он не трогает.
but he won't touch me.
Видать, нравлюсь я ему.
Likes me, it seems.
Вот и зовут меня чертовой невестой.
Oh my god, the voice acting for her is so good. So they even call me Devil's Wedge.
Что правда, то правда.
And it's definitely true. Damn.
Опустившимися до звериного образа жизни хищник брезгует, предпочитая детскую невинную кровь.
The carnivorous monster will not touch those who fell to the level of forest beasts, going for the innocent child's blood instead.
Теперь все чаще хозяина леса видят в поселениях на периферии нашей родины.
The forest master's presence is felt more and more on the outskirts of our country. Torn between believing in what was said and shrugging it away, I decided to record the remaining part of the documentary for some reason. I quickly grabbed the tape that was right in front on top of the TV and put it into the VCR without even looking at the cover. I pressed record, turned the sound up, and paid attention to the slipping signal.
Хозяином леса его прозвали не просто так.
It's not called the Forest Masters for nothing.
Ему подчиняются все звери, пернатые и лохматые. Они предвестники появления самого чудовища.
All of the animals obey it, be they hairy or feathery, they're all precursors for its appearance.
Если слышите вой вдалеке, то, скорее всего, он знает, где вы живете.
If you hear howls in the distance, then it most likely already knows where you live.
Если порог дома истоптан звериными следами, а за окном караулят птицы, прячьтесь, он уже идет за вами.
If you find animal prints all over your doorstep and birds watching you from the trees, you'd better hide. It's already coming for you.
А если однажды ночью, проснувшись, вы увидите глаза в окне, то скоро,
And if you wake up at night and see a pair of eyes in your window,
скоро,
then soon,
скоро,
soon,
скоро,
soon.
скоро,
Okay, I'm done.
скоро,
Oh, when he dies. Okay, got me with that one. The TV suddenly went mad and looped the last word over and over, piercing my ears. That was rude. I got goosebumps all over my spine. The tape ended and was rewinding to the beginning. Yeah, definitely got those folklore vibes. Hey, Bacchus, how are you doing? Thank you for the head pats. I hope you didn't hear my scream. The tape ended and was rewinding to the beginning. The sound of rustling tape reminds me of leaves in the wind and the low howl of the beast. I woke up from my stupor and pressed the button. The VCR ejected the tape. For a moment, I thought it was stained with saliva. But that was just the light from the chandelier making the black plastic glossy. Then I saw the cover. Oh no, it's Peter Pan and I think. Peter Pan. Oops, I recorded it over Peter Pan. That's what I get for hurrying. It was bad enough that I ruined Olia's cartoon, but I also put this creepy stuff over it. I can't let her see this. We'll drown in tears. I snuck a glance at the door. I could hear the clatter of glass and the squeaky floorboards. Olia appeared in the doorway.
Ты не смотришь без меня?
You haven't started without me, have you? My sister brought the tray with unevenly cut bread and a whole can of condensed milk.
Нет. Я пока кассету ищу.
I was looking for the tape.
А ты точно хочешь Питера Пэна смотреть?
Do you really want to watch Peter Pan? You know, I do wonder if the Forest Master is like an active folklore, or if that's just for this game. I do.
Включай скорее, а то мама скоро сядет свой бразильский сериал смотреть.
Turn it on already. Mom will come watch her Brazilian drama soon. Come on. Think, fake detective.
Честно, мне как-то Питер Пен совсем не понравился.
You know, I didn't like Peter Pan.
Может, лучше русалочку?
Maybe we should watch The Little Mermaid instead.
Русалочку я уже насмотрелась.
I've already seen it so many times.
А ты обещал.
And you promised me. She's so stubborn.
Придумал. Давай сначала пару серий черепашек-ниндзя. Согласна?
I know. Let's watch a couple Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle episodes first. Deal? Oya frowned, but ultimately gave up. She put down the tray and crossed her hands on her chest.
Если так сильно просишь.
If you want it so much.
Откроешь сгущенку.
Can you open
Порезаться боюсь.
the milk
Края
can?
острые.
I'm afraid I'll cut myself with the sharp edges. Oh yeah, they look sharp as fuck. Holy shit. As soon as I stood up, colorful dots popped before my eyes, and my sore legs were pierced with 1,000 needles. Only when I reached the sofa, I realized that the can was already open. Oya had tricked me, played me for a fool. My stomach became heavy. I wanted to rush toward the TV, but my little sister was faster. She picked up the remote and proclaimed in a victorious tone,
Повелся!
"Gotcha!"
Владычица пульта приказывает смотреть Питера Пэна!
As the remote's master, I command you to watch Peter Pan. I couldn't even open my mouth, and the VCR had already eaten the accursed tape. She'll play it, and then black crosses on an unnamed grave, empty crypts, bloody scraps on the snow, and the insane devil's wench. She was pretty cool though. I liked her. I'd better tell the truth.
Оля, стой!
Oh, you stop.
Я тебе конец кассеты нечаянно стер.
I erased the end of your tape by accident.
Отдай ее мне и возьми любые две мои.
I'll trade it with you for 2 of mine.
Ты чего?
What do you mean?
Не мог ты стереть? Мы с папой всем кассетам зубики пластмассовые выломали. Отверткой.
You couldn't erase it. Me and Dad had broken off all those plastic pins with a screwdriver.
Теперь ни на один мой мультфильм ничего записать нельзя.
You can't record anything over my cartoons now. My little sister pressed the triangular play button on the remote. I squeezed on the inside, awaiting the out-of-this-world voice of the narrator. But I saw the duel between Peter and Pan, Captain Hook instead. I sighed in relief. My head, heavy as a leaden ball, now rested in my hands. Oya smiled in joy. Oops. She put the tape on rewind and started spreading milk over her bread. And when the cartoon started, she forgot about everything in the world. And as if she really got transported to the Neverland, like she always wished. To be honest, I also imagined myself there, in a land where no one ever ages, where no one argues over little things, where no one listens to fights, and the sound of broken plates at night. But now Peter Pan's land was especially far away from me. My thoughts dragged on, stumbled upon the horned beast that awaited me among the trees. The narrator's mournful voice haunted me, sliding over bushes and ravines, like a winged carnivore would track its prey. I felt like I was dreaming with my eyes still open. Then my sister's scream pulled me back to reality.
Тоша, скорее, штору задерни!
Tosha, shut the curtains fast.
Зачем?
Why?
Никто же на тебя не смотрит.
No one's watching you.
Уже темно, а когда темнеет, прилетает сова.
It's dark, and when it's dark, the owl comes.
Я боюсь.
I'm scared. I got out of bed, fighting my drowsiness, and closed the curtains. Anything else to do? I did my best not to look outside, toward the treetops, toward the taiga forest, which seemingly drew closer and closer. Of course, it was just a visual effect of shadows and branches scraping the snow.
Тоша, мама думает, что я напридумывала про сову.
Tosha, Mom thinks I made the owl up.
И папа считает, что раз я маленькая, это значит врушка.
Dad, too, thinks I'm a liar since I'm small.
А сова есть.
The owl exists.
Вот честная-пречестная, есть она.
Honestly, it does.
Ты же мне веришь,
You believe me, right?
что она там и каждую ночь прилетает и...
That it comes every night and I swiftly grabbed Olya's hand and looked her in the eyes. I was trying to transfer at least some of my courage and determination. But did I really have those qualities?
Я тебе верю, слышишь?
Yes, I believe you. All right?
Ты только родителям больше не рассказывай про сову.
Just don't nag our parents about it anymore.
У них и так хлопот по горло, они только рассердятся.
They're already dealing with a lot, so they'll just get mad at you.
Ты мне говори, если что случится.
Come tell me if anything happens.
И в окно не смотри.
And don't look out the window.
Но она хочет, чтобы я смотрела.
But it wants me to look.
Перехочет.
Doesn't matter.
Притворись, что ее нет и не было никогда, что она выдумка, как родители говорят.
Ooh, indeed. How are you doing today, Gooey? Act like it doesn't exist and never existed. Like it's made up. Just like Mom and Dad said.
Ей ждать надоест, она улетит.
They'll get tired of waiting and fly away. We followed Peter Pan's adventures as if nothing had happened. As if the forest didn't kidnap kids. As if our parents weren't tearing each other apart bit by bit. Captain Hook was running away from a crocodile, and Captain Pan was headed to London on a gilded sailboat. By some miracle, I lasted longer than my little sister. Olya's eyelids had dropped. She started snoring lightly, resting her chin on the side of the bed. The chorus was singing the ending song. The world of Disney was lit up by a silvery moon. Another moon peeked from under the first one, scary and wan, hanging over the taiga forest. The horrific port got recorded right over the credits. My throat went dry. My pulse became faster. I looked toward Olya. She smacked her lips in her sleep. I squeezed the remote with all my might, ready to press stop at any moment. I rewound the recording, checked if it was intact, and then carefully took out the tape. The protective pin was still in place. I stood up and left Olya's room. Whether it was by providence or by curse, I had the tape alongside the bin at the exact moment Mom peeked into my room. Whoa. Isa.
Довольно баловства.
Enough playing around.
Завтра первый день в школе.
It's your first day at school tomorrow.
Ложись, тебе надо выспаться.
Go to bed. You should sleep properly.
Не хочешь же ты, чтобы тебя все дразнили Соней?
You don't want to be teased for being sleepy, right? Adults think everything is so simple. As if sound sleep would ensure my classmates would like me. I covered myself with a blanket up to my neck and listened to the house humming, to something invisible rustling in the corners. My inner voice had a question for me. Do I want to hear that mysterious flute again? Yes or no? Maybe it's just a part of growing up, and I can't fully understand my own desires. The forest wailed behind the barrier that was my walls. Some ethereal entity wandered the fields. Branches shook off as if calling for me. The wind howled on in the night. My thoughts were like annoying flies that entered my head before becoming weak and tangled. I didn't notice how I fell into slumber. It has come after all. The day I feared the most. The day of a new school term. Episode 2. Time to play with you. Hey look, it's Volva. Alright, let's save right there. And I think that's a good ending point. Alright. But, yeah. So far, ambience is looking good. Should be interesting to see how, things at the school turn out. Gonna put the chill music back on. Yeah, this one. Well, everybody will be fine. No worries. I wanna... Let's see. Let me go ahead and do a few shout outs real quick. Borgie was here earlier.
This is the chorus. The coconut nut is a giant nut. If you eat too much, you'll get very fat. The coconut nut is not a big nut. But this delicious nut is not a nut. It's a cocoa fruit. It's a cocoa fruit.
Oh, that was adorable. And also inappropriate at the same time.
I got more guitars when I do friends. Hold on. God, this is heavy.
I got a calculator. Beat this bitch.
Is that a
D84!
I'm a sweet, amazing, wonderful, talented person. My name's JP, and I approve.
Going Cocoa for coconuts. But yeah, I want to thank everybody for coming by today. Oh yeah, and another shout out for Addict too. Thank you for the raid earlier. Really appreciate you sharing your community with me. And a big welcome to everybody new who joined us today. It's really nice having you come on board and get to know you. So yeah, we're gonna look for somebody to raid.
Seriously?
Let's see. Okay, good. So Shiva is streaming now. So Shiva's a friend of the channel. We're gonna go give her a raid. She's playing We Happy Few. Oh, you guys were so welcome. Thank you for being here. Let's see. Some quick announcements as we raid. Today in like 3.5 hours roughly, we're gonna be doing some golf with friends in the Discord. So anybody is welcome to do that if you've got golf with friends. Oops, I didn't even do that right. Feel free to join, and if you don't have the game and you just want to hang out, welcome to do that too. And we'll be back tomorrow a little bit later, starting at 2 for some IB. But yeah, thanks everybody. We are gonna go ahead and raid Chiva. Oh, no worries, Max. Alright, raid message will be... maybe like give me all the joy you got, because joy is like the drug in that game. Yeah, like give me all your joy, and if you got like... I got my little stabby one. Oh wait, that's not one for everybody. We'll do the bongo. Put it like that. Because, yeah. That's like relevant to the game she's playing. Oh, thank you for the hug, Jaguar.